Living on a small farm was certainly an exciting opportunity to grow up on. We had about 7 acres where our house was located, and then about 5 miles down the road we had about over 300 acres of a farm there. Growing up on a farm, you always have something to do. You never had to worry about what you were going to do after school or on weekends. You always had a chore to perform. Pretty early on, I got involved with 4-H and then later with FFA and started showing livestock. And I decided early on too that the best way to have quality livestock to show is to grow your own. So we started a small herd of registered Duroc pigs, and I guess I was the nursemaid and the person who delivered many litters of pigs, and always with the idea that I could pick out the one I was going to be showing in just a few months after that. It was a great way to grow up. My mother insisted that my father build her a laying hen house, so she did that, and she had her customers where we collected the eggs, candled the eggs, washed them, and then she had a delivery route, so we would do that too. But couldn't think of any background, any better place to grow up. I thought that was the direction I was going to go. In fact, my desire was to be a veterinarian because I did like animals so much. That changed as I got a little older and as I got into my senior year in high school, and instead of going to the University of Georgia and trying to get into vet school, I decided to go to Mercer University and wound up being a lawyer. But even with my practice of law in a small town here in North Georgia, growing up on a farm was very helpful to me because I understood many of my clients who came from that same background. Well, my wife Sandra grew up here in Hall County, and when I got out of the Army, we were looking for a place to go, and we had an offer, actually had 2 offers from attorneys here in Gainesville for a new lawyer coming out of the Army to begin a practice, and I accepted an offer by who was then State Senator Bob Andrews, and I went into practice with him. It was just the 2 of us for a year or so there, and it was a great experience in a small community, relatively small community, in a small law firm. I learned a lot there as well. I sort of backed into politics, I suppose you would say. Back in 1980, when our state senator decided not to run for re-election, I had a lot of friends encouraging me to run for that state Senate seat, which I did, and I was successful and stayed there for 12 years in the state Senate. And as you know, that's a part-time position, and I was driving back and forth almost every night trying to keep a law practice going. It got to the point that I had made the decision I was either going to get out of politics or I was going to get into it full time. And about that point in time, our incumbent congressman decided not to run for re-election. So I had the encouragement of running for Congress, and I said, well, this is a good way to test it. Am I supposed to be in politics or am I supposed not to be? And thanks to the voters of the 9th Congressional District, they gave me the opportunity to serve in Congress, and I enjoyed my time there, but I can tell you, I certainly have enjoyed being governor much more than being in Congress. In order to get anything done, you have to have the cooperation of a lot of people. And that's especially true when you're trying to govern a state as big as the state of Georgia. And I have been very fortunate on several fronts. One is to have some very competent people who are working with me. They are my chief of staff and all the people underneath him who are part of our overall team. They're very competent, mostly all young people, and they do an excellent job. You also have to have the cooperation of the members of the General Assembly, and that means that you have to listen. You can't just tell them what to do, you have to listen to what they think should be done. And that's the approach I have taken, and I think it has served us well, and I believe it has served the state of Georgia well. We have made tremendous strides in a relatively short period of time. I've often said that if you can learn to show a boar in a open pen with many other people trying to show their boars, or if you can show a steer or a heifer in a big ring with other people, it is good training for being a political leader. Family is an important part. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a Christian home. My wife and I have had a very devoted First Lady, and I think most people who have met her understand what I'm saying. She is the backbone of our family, And with our 4 children, she's done a great job raising them. I've tried to do my part. I'm proud of all 4 of our children and now our 6 grandchildren. Faith is a part of it as well. You have to have faith that if you do the right thing, that good things will occur. And that if you try to direct your own family and then in your capacity of helping other families in this state, that if you do it right, that good things will happen for them as well.